Welcome to the Matt Cottrell Report. These are the extraordinary stories of ordinary, everyday individuals. Today's guest is a San Angelo native. He's also a Central High School graduate. We played football together at Central from 2002 to 2004. He later went to Angelo State University, where he graduated with a degree in real estate finance. He would take that to the next level and open his own company called Exit Realty Advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Mr. Aaron Nelson. School sweethearts for y'all that don't know.
That's right. So I graduated in 2003 and what year? 04. That's right.
And we played football together.
Yep.
But so for the audience who doesn't know you, a lot of people in town know you, but for those that don't, tell the audience who you are and what you do, your elevator pitch.
Absolutely. So my name's Aaron Nelson. I do a lot of different things, but the main thing I do is real estate sales. I'm the broker owner of Exit Realty Advantage here in San Angelo. So love helping people buy and sell real estate.
Yeah.
We help people lease real estate as well. We've got a company that helps with renovations. We've got licensed plumbers. We've got pretty much everything you can think of. But what I spend the bulk of my time doing is helping people buy and sell properties.
Are you looking to elevate your brand with custom headwear? Custom business hats for high quality customized hats, perfect for any business need. Whether it's for company branding or distinctive merchandise, we ensure that your brand gets the attention it deserves. Plus, we offer free quotes to help you get started. Visit our website at custombusinesshats.com. Custom Business Hats, we've got you covered.
Hey guys, pardon the interruption, but if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button to show your support, we'd be very appreciative. Now back to the episode. Dude. Well, that's fantastic. So what I think is really interesting is your marketing, I think, is brilliant.
Thank you.
And a lot of people know you from that, just from social media marketing, before they knew probably anything about the other stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit in the hallway about it's interesting that people will contact you and they feel like they sort of know you said already without even meeting you because of that, right?
They do. It's like, so I'll get phone calls, be like, hey, Aaron, I've just been watching everything that you've been doing.
Yeah.
I like it so much. A lot of it's about listing houses. A lot of it's just, saying, hey, I keep seeing you.
Yeah.
In fact, I started doing something pretty cool. Anytime somebody comes up to me, like in the supermarket or just anywhere publicly, I'm going to try to take a selfie with them.
Cool.
So I'm going to do like a marketing piece with it, just because I've been getting it quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, that's not to say if you're afraid of getting in a photo, come up to me anyway and just say, hey, Aaron, don't take a picture of me. And I won't take a picture, but I'd love for you to stop by and say, hey, man, I love what you're doing, or I hate what you're doing, or hey, whatever it is. And I'd love just to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. So I want to get into that. But first, let's talk a little bit about just kind of your upbringing. So you're a San Angelo native, right?
That's right.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And where did you grow up? What part of town? I don't even know that.
Yeah, so I lived in a couple of different places growing up. I've lived here since I was 2 years old
Nice.
when my mom moved us back here. We lived at the lake for a long time, grew up, have a lot of good close friends that we grew up with at the lake. Then we moved actually right over by San Angelo Stadium, same place. We'd go play football on Friday nights.
Okay.
I'd have
Like
to
the
drive
college area,
around.
like
College Hills. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool, dude. And you went, what elementary did you go to?
I went to Bowie.
Oh, Bowie's
The
good.
one that's about to be torn down, I
That's
think. Or
right.
at least closed down, right?
What about, and then you went to middle school, you went to Glenn probably?
Glenn.
Yeah. And then Central.
Yep.
So at Central, we played football together.
Yep.
You were a no, you were on offense.
I was an offensive
Yeah,
lineman
you were an offensive
back then,
lineman, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why were you on the line? You weren't even like that huge.
I was
or anything,
like
you know what I mean?
220, 230 back then. Back then I was, yeah.
I didn't realize you were even, what do you weigh now?
I weighed like 180, 185.
Yeah, you're in pretty good shape
somewhere
now,
in that
dude.
range.
Yeah, that's a good weight for you. So what did you do right after Central? Where did you go to college and all that?
Yeah, so I went to ASU.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a fun story. So I didn't, as we were talking about before, I didn't pick up a guitar until I graduated high school, or maybe the last semester of high school, right in there when I first.
What got you into it, real quick? Why?
I don't know exactly. It was just fun, you know. In fact, my friend Bobby, I'll give him a shout out. Hanging out with him one day, he happened to have a guitar laying around his house. I'm like, man, this is cool. I'm gonna get one of these.
Acoustic? Or
it was an acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I ended up going on eBay way back in those days. I think it's still around, but went and bought a guitar and an amp and a cord, like in a combo package. Cost me like $100.
Nice.
And so I picked it up. It was an Ibanez, and then the rest is history, I guess. So I started playing with Bobby. We were in a different band, Southern Stride, if anybody remembers, way back in the day.
Nice.
That was around for a little while, but now the band Brushfire we've been in has been around for since 2005. So this actually would be 20 years. Yeah, it's wild.
And so what kind of music do y'all play primarily? I mean, I think I know, but tell the audience.
Yeah, it's mainly country music. So we do a kind of a wide array. So we do like a lot of weddings, private parties, stuff like that. So we kind of try to appeal to everybody. That's an important thing to do when you're playing those things. So we play all the way from kind of the old school country stuff, like Ernest Tubb, all that kind of stuff, all the way
Don
through.
Williams even.
I remember hearing that, dude. Tulsa Time?
Yes.
Oh,
that's my jam. Yeah.
That's a good song.
So what's funny about that, I was at the Houlihan party, I think it was. And it was like my third year there or something, and I walked up to the stage. I was like, this is a good band. And you were playing.
Oh, I remember that.
And I was like, why is Aaron on stage? And I didn't know that. And y'all were fantastic.
Thank you, man.
It was at the Houlihan?
Yeah, it was Houlihan.
Dude, y'all are good. And so how did that band come together, really?
Oh, well, that's a funny story, too. So Bobby went to, it was Caldwell Music at the time, downtown.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to have a pegboard on the wall where musicians could post what they were looking for, like looking for a bass player or lead player or whatever. And Bobby ran across this note that said, looking for a bass player and a lead guitar player.
Nice.
So he called him. He went out there. It was in Grape Creek where we used to practice. He went out there by himself. I didn't go. And he's like, yeah, I've got this great lead guitar player that can come. He'll come with me. He'll blow your mind.
Dang.
And I couldn't even play guitar.
He was talking about you?
Yeah, he was talking about me. I could hardly even play guitar at the time. So it was
That's hilarious.
It was an awesome learning experience. We practiced, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days a week. We drive out there. Oh yeah. But I got pretty good at lead guitar over that time period. And
could you already sing though?
No. So back then they had a singer.
Okay.
But he jumped ship like 6 months after I joined.
Yeah.
So I just like by default became the singer, and I learned how to sing. So I'd never sang before that. Yeah.
What? Yeah. I can't even believe that. So do y'all still do, I know it's slowed down a little, but do y'all still do gigs and stuff?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we don't do as much of the bar scene as we used to, you know. Like I made my way through college doing that.
Wow.
Paying the bills, paying for rent and all that fun stuff.
Whoa.
But, you know, you have kids and then you get a career going and, you know, things change a little bit. But
that's right.
The things I really like to do are doing those weddings and private parties and even like acoustic stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
That is cool, dude. Yeah. So how did you and your wife meet, and when did y'all get married?
So we met actually through the band.
Nice.
Like we keep talking about the band.
Yeah.
We met, we actually met a little bit before what I'm about to say. We met at a party at our original drummer Mike's house out in Grape Creek.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk much then, but we did a Battle of the Bands deal with Pagoda.
Nice.
Do you remember Pagoda?
No.
They were an awesome band.
Nice.
They played like Rage Against the Machine, that kind of music.
Oh, I love it.
But we did a Battle of the Bands with them and a couple of other bands.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Holly.
Okay.
So it was at the old Oasis on Sherwood Way.
Dude.
Remember that? Yeah.
So was she just like kind of jamming out and hanging out, and you met her? Or what?
Well, she was with her friends, like in a circle, and you know, one of the few times I think I've ever done that, I just walked up straight up to her. You know,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this, like, so I was in a marriage, my first marriage, and it was great, but we had kind of different value systems. And one of the biggest things was our faith. Like I have always had faith in God, and she was born somewhere else, and it just wasn't common for her to be brought up that way. And so it was something early on that I was like, you know, we can probably work this out. I mean, we'll figure it out. And honestly, to be real honest, in the back of my mind, I always thought, I'm gonna bring her to God, like to know God. Like that was something I really wanted. But that never happened. And down the road, I made the mistake of, not aligning myself with someone. And she did the same thing, that we weren't equally yoked, as they say.
Yeah.
So did you and your wife share a lot of the same values?
In the beginning, we didn't get together talking about that type of stuff or anything.
Yeah.
Come to find out, though, we do. Yeah. So her family is Baptist.
Okay.
And so is mine. So
cool.
It actually worked out really well.
Yeah.
And it's, call it happenstance, call it fate. I don't know, but it worked out very well.
That's cool.
And talking about, one thing we always talked about when we first met was growing together, because everybody changes.
That's right.
And you're either going to grow apart or you're going to grow together and keep that partnership going. And that's one thing we've always kind of focused on. We've been together 17 years.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's been a great thing.
Yeah.
And every day we just try to do that, just grow together instead of apart.
Exactly.
And so she's in real estate as well. She's a realtor.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you'll have how many kids?
We got 2 boys.
Nice.
Yeah, they're both about to have birthdays.
Cool,
so they're about
dude.
to be 9 and 6 here.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Good ages, yeah. Were y'all on the same page with that too? Like how many kids you wanted, and y'all both wanted kids and stuff?
Absolutely, we did.
That's good.
Yeah, we tried for a while. We did.
Cool. So when did you get into real estate? Like when did you know that was your path,
Yeah, so when I started college, I was actually a computer science major.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I realized I didn't like the math that much.
Dude, yeah. I can't stand math.
So I got into kind of the higher level math stuff, and I'm like, at the time, all of the jobs were getting outsourced to India. So it was like, I could get this degree and then I might make $30,000 a year.
Right.
Like, this isn't for me.
That's true. Yeah.
So I decided, what sounds good? I want to try finance.
Okay.
But at the time, ASU had 2 different routes. You had finance with the real estate or the financial planning option.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I think real estate.
Yeah.
Let's try it. So, there's no master plan in this whole thing. It's just a matter of what I kind of picked then.
Yeah.
And got all my real estate classes done through ASU at the time.
Yeah.
Got my license in 2009.
Okay.
And I actually started practicing in 2010. So I've been in it 15 years now.
Wow.
And man, I will tell you, it's the biggest blessing, the best decision. Oh, absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Well, for one, you get to help people.
Yeah.
Like in the biggest transaction of their lives, right?
Wow, yeah.
And that's a huge deal.
It
for 2, it allowed me to get closer to real estate, to find out about real estate investing. Like that never crossed my mind about owning properties or anything like that.
Yeah.
But now both of us, my wife and I, are super passionate about real estate investing.
Yeah.
That's one of our big goals is buying and holding properties.
Okay.
We do flip some, that kind of thing, but I never would have even gotten started.
That's
And
right.
I'll give another shout out to my old broker, Norman.
Yeah.
Norman at Deersky & Deersky Realtors.
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah.
I was with them the entire time in real estate.
Were you really? I was going to ask you that, who you got on with initially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up until when they retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were ready. They were
and
ready
they were good
to
mentors?
retire. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Norman actually sold me the first 5 houses we ever bought.
Whoa.
Yeah.
5. Was it at one time?
Yeah, at one time.
Really?
You have no idea how long I stressed about that.
Yeah, I bet.
Like I'd go home and sit at the dining table, and we were like, I think we were 25 at the time.
You were that young?
And
that's cool, dude.
Maybe a little older than that.
Yeah.
But I stressed over it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had actually offered me, I think, 6 at the time.
Okay.
And I'd stress and stress. It was like 6 months. And then he finally sold one of them. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
You're like, I need to pull the trigger on this thing.
Yeah. No matter what happens, I need to just jump into this.
Yeah.
And I did. And I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
It was
jumping in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's a few things. And if you're interested in real estate investing,
yeah,
give me a call. I'm always happy to help with that.
Oh, yes. A lot of people are.
That's the thing. Like you have to get a little bit of credit with the bank where they see that you've been doing those kind of transactions.
Yep.
That you're used to managing rental properties.
That's right.
That kind of thing. You know? So if you get a little bit of that under your belt, even your first one, banks are going to look at you totally differently.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Isn't it important? Here's something I found out owning a business. And I was told this, but it really didn't make sense to me because I was like, nah, we're just numbers. Like there's no such thing as like a relationship with a personal banker.
No, there
but
is.
That's true, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's important. A lot of people don't know that. Like, how important is that? You know, like you were saying, to build credibility and to show them, look, I'm going to stick by my word and follow through. Like, that's important, right?
That is huge.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so they don't just look at what's on the paper. They look at you and are you credible?
Yeah.
Your credit score, but are you a credible person? Are you somebody that we can trust to pay us back, where we don't have to go through, taking the property back or whatever it might be? That's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
So I had when I had my business, I was looking into buying the building, and I had a close friend of mine who's a client who's in commercial real estate. He said, "Let's go talk to your banker. Are you in good standing?" I said, "Yeah, I got a business loan through them. I paid it back. I only have a little bit left. It's almost paid back." And we have a pretty good relationship. And this person went to the bank with me, and we sat down and talked to the banker. His name is Ray at
Ray Montgomery.
I don't think it's Montgomery. He's at what is the bank called? It's on Knickerbocker, big bank.
Oh, First Financial.
Not First Financial. No? I'll think of it in a second. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, Darcy's there. Do you know Darcy?
Oh, Bank and Trust.
Bank and Trust.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, so I was with Darcy, and then Ray took over my account. And anyway, so this person went in, and we sat down, and basically he vouched for me, and I didn't even know he was going to do that. And because this person already had a reputation in town with real estate and stuff, that went a long way with my banker. Like, it was incredible. I just didn't realize at the time, I was barely 30, and I didn't realize how important that was. You know what I mean? Like, your reputation and someone vouching for your credibility, and that, you're a man of your word and you're going to make your payments, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing can't be overstated, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So what happened though with those 5 houses? Were they already ready to go as rental properties, or did you have to do some work on them?
So, that was one thing. Like, I knew that if I was going to jump into this thing, we were going to put money in and work into them as they came vacant. They were already leased mainly.
Okay.
I think a few might have been vacant, maybe one.
Yeah.
But we knew that we were going to have to put time and energy, and we ended up doing a lot of the work to them ourselves back then.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we got started. But we quickly learned that you can't get a lot done if you're just working on one house at a time by yourself.
Oh, I see.
So you really need to build that network of contractors
and
get them involved. And you have to find good, credible people that are going to show up and actually get the job done.
Yep.
But we did quite a few on our own to start with. And I think everybody kind of has to do that, because you don't know how long things really take. Like, you think
that's true.
Sheetrock might just go up really quick.
Yeah.
That is incredibly time consuming.
It is, right? It's funny how you always underestimate how long something like that's going to take.
Yeah, it is.
Construction work, yeah.
Yeah. But then once you kind of get the feel for that, I think that you can kind of scale that by starting to hire good people.
Okay.
And when you do, the sky's the limit.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah.
So do you have a good crew now? Like, you have a concrete guy, you have a sheetrock guy, you have an electrician, like go-to people?
We do.
They work with? Do you have a company that does all that? Right?
Absolutely. So
talk about that.
About 4 years ago, we opened a company, Texas Elite Property Solutions.
Okay.
So what I was kind of finding was, if you hired somebody, they kind of flaked out on you, or maybe they wanted payment up front, and those kind of stories never end well, where they just run off with the money.
Right.
All these things. We had property management clients. We have a property management office as well.
Nice.
Where they were looking at me saying, "Hey, Aaron, your contractor did this or needs to get this done." And even though we were just hiring, just third-party vendors at the time. So I'm like, talked with Holly. She's my partner in everything, in life and in business.
Yeah.
And we're like, we just need to just open the doors and hire people.
Wow.
That way we can control the quality, we can control when things are getting done, we can control the cost.
Interesting.
And
whoa.
So we've been doing that for about 4 years now.
Has that been a game changer?
It has.
Yeah.
So we brought on a master plumber and started hiring other plumbers about 2 years ago. And that's been a really good thing, because we've got a lot of great plumbers in this town. But it's nice to have that control of knowing when people can be there. We manage everything from single family to large multifamily.
Nice.
So sometimes it's hard to control the scheduling if you're trying to hire an outside vendor for those bigger projects. So it's nice to be able to kind of control that, and we can kind of control the costing too. So that's really helpful. We do a lot of work. We've remodeled full apartment complexes.
Oh, wow.
Plumbing, inside and out on the cosmetics, from the paint, flooring. Cabinets, counters, all of that. So it's kind of the whole idea is kind of this ecosystem thing, right? So we've got the real estate sales, Exit Realty Advantage. We've got Angelo Rentals Property Management.
Okay.
And then we've got Texas Elite Property Solutions. So We can help you buy it. We can help you lease it. Yeah, manage it. And then we can help you remodel it after you buy it, or if you decide to sell the property.
Is that the whole spectrum, though, or are we missing a piece?
We're missing a piece.
What about, what is it?
So for me, the piece is new construction. So that's what we're going to be hopefully getting into here pretty quick. Yeah.
And that's all under an umbrella kind of.
Yeah. Well,
do y'all have a company like that that's all under that umbrella, or are they all separate?
So they're all just kind of their separate entities.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did it that way. I mean, we could have hired like a maintenance guy or whatever through Angelo Rentals.
Yeah.
But it made more sense because I knew I wanted eventually to scale this thing.
Okay.
So it made sense to make it separate because who's going to hire Angelo Rentals Plumbing? Right. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, so I'm like, no, it needs to be its own entity.
Okay.
So that's kind of why we did it. And that's kind of what we're in the middle of building right now on that side is the plumbing and also like the remodeling.
Yeah.
We pretty much can do anything in a house. So
wow.
Something cool we're about to start offering is subscription plans. So
for what?
You pay like a monthly fee, and there's a couple of different models. One is you pay a small fee every month, very small, like a couple of bucks. Whoa. And then you get a discounted fee, a discounted charge from us whenever we come out to help you with whatever, remodeling or plumbing or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Another model is where you pay us a set fee every month, and you accrue credits every single month, and you can use that for just normal maintenance around your house, or if you build up enough credits over time, and you will if you don't use it, then you can use that to even do a full remodel on your house.
Whoa.
The whole idea being that there's a lot of people here, even some of the aging community, that they don't know how to do things, or they just don't want to do it. They've done that in the past. They just don't want to do that anymore.
Yep.
Totally. So I think it's a great opportunity to help people in our community with that type of thing. So
yeah, dude. Yeah. So man, that's crazy. So y'all do everything, huh? What about do you do any ranch realty, like selling land and stuff?
We do some of that. Yeah, absolutely, we do. So we can kind of help you in the whole scheme of things, whether it be commercial, residential, farm and ranch. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about your marketing, dude. It's been amazing, I think. What I like about it is there are some realtors in town who are doing some creative stuff.
Yeah.
But what I think is unique about yours that a lot of people aren't doing is you're really utilizing, I guess you would call it print over just straight videos.
Yeah.
Like you'll take a picture, and I don't know exactly how you're doing it, but I'll see it more than once, you know what I mean? And it's got a message, and it's a really clear message. It's simple. And what I find myself doing is seeing it, and it keeps popping up, and it stays stuck in my head. It works because I start, like, I'll see it and I already know what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's effective, dude. It really is. Like I've just noticed that over time, not even really like making a particular effort to see how it's affected me. But one day I just started really paying attention to that. And I was like, this guy's onto something pretty good here. And so what has been your strategy with that?
Man, so the big thing is, a lot of people, it's not even just real estate. But a lot of people put ads out there saying, hey, call me for, call me to buy a house, call me to buy this car, call me, whatever. Yeah. Or, and I think that turns a lot of people off. I think that if you're going to make an ad about something, don't make it look like an ad. You know what I mean? So what I want to do is I would rather brand myself. So when people are looking for somebody that to help them buy or sell a house, they know who I am.
That's right.
They get to know me.
Yes.
So you're not only going to see me post fun local stuff, like I'll do highlights of local businesses, but I'll also just do fun stuff that just kind of is relatable.
Right.
I'll also do stuff that talks about my family, my kids, and how I feel about stuff, and just letting them get to know me.
I'm starting to get it. Yeah. It's very well rounded.
Yeah.
So that is at the center of it, I can tell, is that it's the genuine you, and it's about who you are overall, not about necessarily like what you do, like you just talked about. See, I didn't even know some of that. You know what I mean? But I feel like I know what you do, through those messages. It's really interesting. It's good.
Yeah. I keep some of that quiet sometimes, everything that we do, because I don't want it to detract from kind of like my core value kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I mean, they're all our businesses and what we do, but I want to make sure people are aware of like kind of my core, and what I do.
That,
but they're not going to call me unless they feel like they know me.
That's right.
And hopefully they're getting to know me and to like me through those videos and through the posts and kind of the article style. I had a realtor come up to me about a month ago. He's like, man, I never stop and read those long posts from anybody else, but when I see yours, I read them. I'm like,
I wonder why.
Awesome.
Why do you think he's reading yours?
Maybe because they're actually, I guess more of branding me with my thoughts about stuff instead of, again, not that quick call to action. Most of them don't even have a call to action.
I know. No, they don't. Oh, that's fascinating. So how has the response been overall? Has it been positive overall?
Absolutely, yeah.
So people, like you said, will come up to you in the store or something, and they're like, hey, man, I like that one you did or whatever. Like, there's a good response, right?
Absolutely, and it's awesome because,
cool.
I mean, and I never expected that to happen. We just started doing it, but it's really helped kind of build that momentum. So I think this is going to be one of the best years we've had in real estate.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot to do with the marketing. And another thing about that is I feel like, agents need to be, and a lot of them are, don't get me wrong, agents need to be good marketers.
Okay.
They need to be good. If a seller's going to enlist you to sell their house, then you need to be good at marketing.
Yes.
You need to be able to get that property out there to be exposed to the market so you can get the right buyer.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have it exposed to as many people as you possibly can, how do you know if you're selling it for the best price?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And what I like about what you're doing too is I was reading a book. There's a guy named Dean. He's got like an Italian, you know what I'm talking about?
Graziosi?
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm reading a book about, I think it's called Millionaire Habits or something like that. Have you read that?
I haven't read that one.
Okay. So, man, I'm a big fan of his now. But he said that essentially attraction and persuasion is really just a fancy way of saying sales, marketing and sales.
Yeah.
And he said that what his best definition, to see if I can get this right, of marketing is providing, Providing something that people, man, I'm going to have to look it up. But my point is, his overall thesis about it is that whenever you provide the world with something that they need, that's something that's good and you're solving a problem, but you're also making money from it, that's a good thing. Everybody wins. And that's what we need more of, instead of people like trying to get over on someone.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like that's what you're doing, which is cool.
I try to tell the realtors at our brokerage, like, look, don't feel like going and talking to people is salesy.
Right.
Our job is to help people.
That's right.
How in the world, there are so many people out there, first-time home buyers or people that have never bought a house before, people that don't know where to go, they might be in foreclosure, people going through divorce, people that just want to make a change and don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so our job is to add value to these people, to help them. Our job isn't to go out and like other professions might be considered and going out and trying to hunt down people. No,
exactly. Yeah.
We build relationships because we're people too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our job is to help them. Right.
Yeah.
And it might be now, it might be in 5 years. But if you get a call from me saying, hey, come to our, like we just had an anniversary party. You know? Come by our anniversary party. It's because we want to get to know you, see how things are going with you.
That's
you know
cool.
what I mean?
So this is another thing that Dean says. He says that, that people, it's listening is kind of a lost art, is we don't listen enough to what people actually are trying to tell us, what they need, And so I feel like a lot of what you're doing, it sounds like you're doing a good job of that. You know what I mean? Instead of just trying to hit them with the sales pitch, and like, for instance, like a car salesman, you walk in and if, the guy that approaches you with a lot of energy and he's like, oh, you got to buy this car, man. It's got the lowest mileage. It's super fast. And he tells you all this stuff and you're like, you don't even know what I'm looking for. You don't know if I have a family, if I have kids, if I need a minivan. You know what I mean? And so he compares it to the salesman who comes up and starts asking questions and gets to know you and about your family and your value system and starts to really listen to what you need. And then that's the difference. But what you said is there are a lot of people who are afraid of sales because they feel like they're being pushy and they're being what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to get over on somebody, right? That it's unethical is the word I'm looking for, to sell somebody something when it's not. If you're going about it the right way and you're solving a problem and you're providing value to their life, then you shouldn't feel bad about getting money from somebody, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're out there for the right reasons and you're actually trying to help people, and we spend an unbelievable amount of time on continuing education, and it's, we've been through deals before where things have gone south, and so we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so the same thing I try to tell our agents is just like, it's a good thing.
That's right.
We need to help people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's our job, our role. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So with your marketing, I wanted to also ask you this. Did you hire somebody? Was this all you that came up with this, you and your wife? Did y'all come together and say, I think I know what we need to do, and y'all created a strategy, or was it as you went? Like, tell me a little, and you don't have to reveal all your secrets.
Yeah. So kind of as we went, we do have a company that helps us with like all the video stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just been a growing process, so just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
They feed us some ideas,
Okay.
Of course. Definitely not all me by any means.
But you come up with some of those too,
we do
right?
our best to come up with,
Cool.
with hopefully the best ones. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it's,
Who came up with the one? So one of my favorite ones, and I commented on this one.
Okay.
Was the one where you're playing both roles. You're the therapist and you're the guy in therapy.
Yeah.
And he did word association or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you think of when you think of tacos? Taco Bell, or whatever. What about real estate? Aaron Nelson. And it keeps coming around. I thought that one was genius. That
was kind of them and us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That one's good for several reasons.
Yeah, they were coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
And I just kind of embellished on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. That one's fire, dude. I like that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So you plan on continuing to do now? Is your marketing? Would you say like 20%, 50%? How much of it is focused on social media?
In terms of like how much time we spend on stuff, we spend a bulk of it on social.
Okay.
In terms of like marketing, trying to, let you know that we're out there to help you buy or sell. Yeah. Most of it's on social.
Is it? What
now,
about, do y'all do billboards, radio ads, anything like that?
So not too much.
Okay.
So I used to do a lot of billboards. I'll probably get back into that again here, maybe sometime soon. I've been kind of tossing that around. And what I'm going to try to do, and you might see it out there when I do it, I'm going to try to tie them together. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Say, hey, have you seen this Facebook ad?
Cool.
Yeah. And then if you have, like, whatever, might put a QR code or something on the billboard where they could scan it and then enter their information and win a prize. Who knows?
Cool. Yeah.
But just tie them together, right?
Okay.
So because so many people have been seeing the social media stuff that I kind of want to just build on that.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Do you follow your analytics and stuff, or do you have somebody who tracks that?
So the company that does the videos for us, they tell me, hey, this ad did good or it didn't do
good.
Yeah.
Why the billboard? So why do you think, I've always, for some reason to me, even when I had a gym, I always thought billboards were important, especially in this town. Do you think so too, and why, if so?
I do. And I told another realtor this years ago, back when I still was kind of doing the billboard thing. I've lived here my whole life, right? So I know so many people. I might not remember all those people. I don't have their names or numbers, or they're not saved. So I want to be able to get out in front of those people.
Yeah.
Because they probably remember me.
Yeah.
And if I saw them on the street, I'd remember them. It's just I don't have their phone number, right? So that's the best way to do it. If they're social media now, for sure, but billboards, if somebody's driving down the road, they can see my picture.
Yeah.
And that had a great response back when I was doing it too.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just making sure you stay in front of people. Be the first person that they think of.
Yeah, that's what I think you're doing the best job of, is that top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
I really do. Like when you think of real estate, you're top 3 of who I think probably number 1 right now.
Cool.
And there are a couple other people, but yeah, like it's way up there, dude. And so I know it's working well for you guys. And so I wanted to also ask you, so what percentage would you say of the leads you get, just like a random lead that saw you on Facebook, doesn't know you, they reach out to you and inquire about something, what percentage of those would you say become actual clients, or that you do something for? Like, is it a pretty good percentage?
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
I'd say, and it's not from like day 0 to day 1.
Yeah.
It's like maybe in 6 months.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
They might be going through something. Maybe their parents are moving out of their house into a care facility. So kind of hard to totally say that number.
Yeah.
But from the people that actually reach out to me, and I'll divide this up. So I'll say like people that need to list their house for sale.
Yeah.
People that reach out, maybe 80 or 90%.
Whoa,
it's really good.
Yeah.
People that need to buy or want to buy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lower than that because it just depends on if you're ready or not.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? And I can help coach them. We've got several lenders we work with that can help as well, and they'll run their information, but not only just just run your information like credit and all that, but they'll actually say, hey, this is what you need to do to qualify to buy a house.
Okay. Yeah.
And then at that point we can stay in touch, and I can call them and follow up and be like, how are things going?
Interesting. So how involved are you in that? Like, because I feel like there's a lot of that, and I kind of fall in this category too. Me and my partner, my girlfriend, we are close to looking for a house to buy. Like, we want to do that, but I feel like, there's a good percentage of people who are ready, but they don't know exactly what they need to do or work on or bring their credit up. So how involved are you with that? If someone reaches out, they want to buy, but they're not quite where they need to be, would you send them to somebody who's an expert in that, kind of like you said?
So I'm an expert in real estate, right?
Yeah.
And helping people buy and sell real estate, and it goes deeper than that, of course.
Yeah.
It's not just opening a door. It's really having that consultation with you and talking to you about what you really are looking for in a house. So there's wants and needs, and sometimes those kind of get gray a little bit, what a want and need is.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is sit down with you in the beginning and kind of work through that to say, okay, these are my must-haves, and these are my, like, kind of what I really would love to have, but it's not a necessity kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and then we have a better idea of what to look for instead of just kind of looking at everything kind of shotgun approach. I'd rather kind of hone in on what really fires you up in a house, right? What you're looking for. Number of bedrooms, you need land. Do you want vaulted ceilings or, whatever it might be? Yeah. What area do you like to live in?
Yeah.
All these things.
Yeah.
I need to find that information out first.
Okay.
And then we can help you. You know what I mean? We do the same kind of consultation with the home seller too. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it's a matter of sitting down with a client and just really understanding them. That's where the value is. And then at that point, if they're ready, awesome. We'd love to help you now. If not, then hey, let's keep in touch. Let's keep following up, and maybe we can keep some accountability and get you on track.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a matter of 30 days, it just depends on how far off their credit is and that kind of thing.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe they haven't been at their job quite long enough.
Exactly.
But where that stuff comes in, that's where we connect you with a great lender that can help you too, because that's their part of the job.
Right.
Is making sure all those things are in line where they need to be so they can give you a loan. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So what do you see most often, would you say, right now? Is it military people who are moving to town? Is it people finding their dream home? Is it elderly people? What are you seeing the most
it's everything.
It is? Yeah.
I mean, there's people aging, and then they're needing to make a change, whether it be downsizing, moving into assisted living, or whatever it might be. There's new people coming to town all the time. And that's feeding a lot of the newer construction we have. People are always looking for their dream home, right?
Yeah.
So and your dream home might be your dream home right now. It might not be your dream home for the next 50 years. It might be your dream home for the next 10.
Yeah.
So again, it's just sitting down with them and figuring out really what that means. Yeah. And things change,
Sure.
Kids grow up, they move out of the house.
Yeah, that's right.
So
what about you personally, like you and your family? Are y'all where you want to be right now? Or y'all want to build something from scratch somewhere else, or what?
So we're in an interesting spot. We've got a great house just east of town. We're in the Wall School District, where we want to be in the Wall School District. We love the people out there.
Yeah.
We bought a lot just north of the Hawk and the high school and all that, the elementary. And we want to build out there, but we would be the first people to build.
Whoa.
So, and we've got 2 boys, so that makes it complicated, right?
Why?
So, because they would have 140 acres of land to roam on, but no kids to play with. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
See,
I say 140 acres because the whole subdivision is undeveloped, right? All that land. So we talked about it. We still hold a lot. We can build on it. We probably will eventually.
Yeah.
But we've got a great area we're in now. Our neighbors have kids the exact same age as our boys.
Yeah.
There's kids down the street. There's kids the next block over that Paxton and Asher go to school with.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to be, where kids can just knock on your door at 6 o'clock at night and come in and play, and then go home at when the sun goes down.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So I want to know what drives you. So for you, is it money? Is it monetary? Is it helping people? Do you have some kind of goal to where you're trying to get to a certain level? What is it exactly that drives you to do this,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
When I was younger, you go into college, the old story of walking uphill both ways.
Yeah.
I feel like that, even though I didn't walk uphill both ways. Remember, I had an apartment when I was paying for it with band money and all that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a vehicle. I actually worked at Hastings back in the day.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But the bad thing about it was I was riding my bike.
Nice.
And so I was riding my bike from College Hills West to Hastings, where it used to be on Sunset, you know? And Gary, the original guitar player in Brushfire, found me a bike at a park. So he worked for the Parks Department.
Yeah.
And somebody just abandoned an the ugliest purple bike you can imagine.
Are you serious? Was it a road bike or like a mountain bike or what?
It was kind of like a mountain bike.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of that
just
style.
like a cheap old,
Yeah. So I rode that to work one day, and I really couldn't afford a lock for it.
Wow.
And I'm like, nobody's going to steal this piece of junk, even though it was like my only means of transportation. Well, I walk out of work one day, gone.
No.
So like my heart like sank, right? Because it was the only way I was getting around town.
How old were you then?
I was 21, 22, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like heartbroken. On the way, so I walked home to College Hills West, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
Millbrook and College Hills, right? So, and a bird pooped on my shoulder on the way home.
I have a similar story to this, dude.
How much worse can this get?
Yeah.
So, at that point, I started walking to school every day.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by uphill both ways, because if you know Oxford, you go up Oxford and it comes back down. Yeah. And then I had to walk back, right? Okay. So it's kind of an up, kind of a hill there in the middle. So I literally did walk uphill both ways from there and back to school. So I did that for quite a while until I saved enough money to get a vehicle. But I told myself I would never be in that position again.
Wow.
So that's one thing that I'm really passionate about is at this point real estate investing, because I mean it's the best way to pull yourself out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Wow.
I wasn't doing it at that point, but man, if I would have known what I know now about real estate investing, that would have changed my life. And
wow.
I'm passionate about helping people and helping them change their lives.
Yeah, you are. I can tell, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of that, like you can relate to people who are in that position,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have a similar story.
Yeah.
So I was in Austin. This was after college. I graduated from Texas State. I came back to San Angelo and I worked for KIDY Fox Television because I had a communications degree and I enjoyed it. But I wanted to go back to Austin so bad. I loved the Austin area. I just loved it. So I went back and really had no business going back. I had no money, nothing. I had a job opportunity that fell through. So I quit my job at KIDY, which I shouldn't have done. And I went there with really no opportunities, nothing. And I was staying with a friend living on a little tiny mat in his apartment. And he still has this little tiny apartment, which he owns. It's cool, but it's good for one person, you know? And he was helping me out. And I got a job at Applebee's and Extended Stay Deluxe as a front counter person, you know, and I worked both jobs and they were across the street from each other on I-35 in Runberg, which is one of the worst parts of Austin. They call it Crackhead Central. And it was bad. I had a little apartment. It was $680 a month, I think. No vehicle. So he was helping me out, but we found me a Cannondale bike on sale, like a marketplace or something, for $80. Really good road bike. So he bought it for me and I was going to pay him back, which I did like in 2 payments or something. So I was riding that, and one day I was late for work, and I had to get to Applebee's. Then after Applebee's, I was going to have to go to Extended Stay. And I was in my uniform, and it was raining, so I didn't have a raincoat, so I put a trash bag on, and I cut a hole in the top where my head, and I was riding to work, cars zooming by, crackheads everywhere, and I kind of had that same feeling, looking around. I was like, man, this has got to be the lowest point of my life right here. This is horrible. Like, this is hard, man. This sucks. Like, this is no way to live, and I remember thinking kind of that same thing. Like, I'm going to remember this because, like, it's not easy to lose everything. I've done it a couple times, and it's not worth it, man. And so that's good motivation for sure, dude. Yeah. But I was going to ask you, so if let's say somebody's in that position though, because you said it's one of the best ways to pull yourself out of a bad situation. If they're in a situation like that, but let's say, they don't have any money for a down payment on something, like what could you advise someone to do when it comes to real estate investing? What would be the steps,
So there's a lot of creative ways in real estate investing. Where that doesn't really require any money, believe it or not. Wow. So if you find the right deal, you can make it happen.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. So, we might not have enough time here to sit and let me explain all that to you, but there's some really creative ways. There are some owner finance ways where the seller will owner finance it to you. just a lot of different things where you can make it happen without any money out of pocket. There's something called the BRRRR method.
What's that?
BRRRR, it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. That's what that stands for.
Yeah.
So the idea is you buy kind of a rundown property, but you buy it at the right place where you can renovate it, get it rented out to somebody, and then if you had any money in it, then you can pull that money out to refinance it.
Yeah.
What I like to do, I kind of cut one of those R's off of it.
Yeah.
I cut off the refinance part. What you can do is a purchase money loan with rehab costs built into it.
Okay.
So where it's a single loan. So again, if it's the right deal, even if you don't have experience, you can probably make it happen. Even if a local lender won't lend to you, you can find somebody to lend you the money.
That's right.
There's private money options where people just want to lend on this kind of thing. And if the deal's right, they know if you mess up, they can get that house, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to lend you money.
That's right.
So the idea is you buy it, and we can talk numbers, I guess, if you want. But you buy it, let's say it's $100,000 after it's repaired, right?
Okay.
So can't find that anymore. $100,000 house that's remodeled. But just for round numbers, let's say that you wanted to buy it for 70% of that after repair value. And then after that, you take off whatever the cost would be for the rehab. Now, if you've never done this before, you don't want to just throw a number on it and say, I think it's going to cost this much.
That's right.
You probably want to get a contractor over there until you've done it,
That's right.
half a dozen or a dozen times until you know the numbers. But once you do, so you take that 100K, you know that the 70K is where you would buy it at if it was pristine.
Okay.
You'd have that spread, that 30,000 spread in there. Then you take off whatever those rehab costs would be. So let's say it's 30,000 in repairs. So that takes it down to 50. Right. So then you could say that I would buy it for 50,000.
Okay.
Right. Basically, it's kind of a investing rule on real estate, kind of the 70% rule.
Oh, cool.
Give or take, right? And keep in mind that 30,000 isn't all profit because you're going to have closing costs involved and that kind of thing, unless you're going to buy and hold it, right? Unless you're going to hold it as a rental property.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a general rule of thumb. I'm happy to work, talk with people about stuff.
Yeah.
About specific, opportunities or whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you if you could recommend any literature on that, any good books or anything. I would love to start learning about that.
Absolutely. So there is. It's getting a little older now, so you might not follow the numbers exactly.
Yeah.
But there's the book on estimating rehab costs by Jay Scott.
Okay.
And he's affiliated with Bigger Pockets, and that's biggerpockets.com.
Okay.
They've changed their model a little bit over the years, but one of the great things that they have on there, they have an online forum you can go on, you can check out deals, you can ask questions. They have a rehab calculator. Good. I still use that rehab calculator sometimes.
Cool, dude.
There's a BRRRR, like I just talked about. There's a fix and flip, a rental calculator, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a really good place to go and learn about real estate.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, and their podcast.
Nice.
They've changed the format of it lately, but you can go into the earlier podcasts, and they've got some gold when it turns to real estate investing.
Dude, that's good advice
good
right there, man.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Cool. So lastly, I like to ask everybody to tell me 3 things that you're just really genuinely grateful for right now in your life.
I do this every morning. So
awesome. I do too.
Oh, cool.
So real quick, before you do this, you know what I've been doing, dude?
Yeah.
I got to tell you about this because I'm actually going to do a piece probably just on this because of how transformative this is. It's called the prayer process.
Okay.
And a guy named Matthew Kelly, who's a really well-known author, Christian author, he wrote a book called I Heard God Laugh. And it's about the prayer process. What it is a way to pray if you're not familiar with how to pray and talk to God. And you start with gratitude. So I've been doing this for about 40 days now. So you start with gratitude. You tell God what you're grateful for just in conversation, everything in your life, things that are going right, things that are going wrong, and then after that, you lift others up in prayer. So people who are on your heart. For me, it's been the local kid, Cash. Have you seen Cash?
I have.
Yeah, so he's top of my list,
yeah.
Along with there's 5 or 6 people who are self-proclaimed atheists that are really good friends of mine who I pray for daily, and that's a tough one, but then there are other people too, but then after that, you do forgiveness, so you ask God to, you repent about things that, that you want forgiveness from God, things that you genuinely feel remorseful for, and then after that is significant moments. So anything that happened the day before that was significant, where you thought God was trying to tell you something or speak to you, or things you just remember or on your heart, And then there's peaceful moments, which is just thanking God for things that are going right in your life. And then you finish with the Lord's Prayer. I got to tell you, dude, it's unbelievable how this is changing my life. It's unbelievable, because what's happening is my prayer has gone from 911 prayer of, I need this to happen, please.
Yeah.
It's moved more toward praying for others and gratitude and the communication that I have with. It's so different, dude. It's unbelievable. And I mean, I go to this Bible study, and I just last Wednesday started raving about this, and like was just like
Awesome.
I was just like throwing up, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it's hard to tell someone this who maybe is not on the same page with you because they think you're a weirdo, but these people kind of experience that too. That's why they're in Bible study. They want more of this, you know, and it's just been transformative. And anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. But so you do gratitude every morning?
I do. So I don't technically follow this book exactly, but there's a book called Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Okay.
So he actually spoke at the Exit conference that we had last November. It covers a lot of ground, but there's a few things that I do every morning. I do affirmations, and I talk about not necessarily where I am, but positive things about where I want to be. You know?
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Just talks about visualization, silence, all these things. And you asked me 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. So I kind of end that whole session just talking about to myself generally and talking to God. And I say a prayer at the end of that.
Yeah.
And what I'm grateful for. Well, I'm grateful for him, first of all, but really the things that stand out to me every morning because biggest parts of my life, my family, my health, the opportunities that he's given me.
Dude,
and and like it's mind-blowing the opportunities that I
it
never
seems
thought
like
I would
he's
have.
just that's what it seems like to me, honestly, with you, is like because those things are aligned in your life, I feel like you just are overwhelmed with blessings, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can see that all over you, dude.
Thank you, man.
It's cool. Yeah. It's really cool, man. It's infectious. And what's that book called? I want to read that.
Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Miracle. Okay, I'm going to read that next, probably. It's
really good.
That's cool. All right, dude. So anything else you want to say to the audience or anything?
Man, I've just enjoyed the time with you. Thanks for having me on.
How do people find you? What's the best way for them to find you? I know there are a lot of ways, but yeah.
So you can just give me a call. So you can look me up on Facebook. If you look me up on Facebook, you can look up my business page, Aaron Nelson Exit Realty Advantage. If you type that in, Aaron Nelson Exit Realty Advantage on Facebook, you're going to see my Facebook profile. You're going to see some of the fun stuff that Matt's been talking about today.
Cool.
If you don't do social, you can always give me a call. My number is 325-650-3391. Or you can shoot me an email, Aaron, with 2 A's, AARON, _Nelson@live.com.
Dude, I'll put that just as you said it on the screen.
Sweet.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah,
man, this was
Absolutely.
awesome, dude. This was amazing.
I've enjoyed it, man.
Me too. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Thank you, guys, for tuning in once again to the Macatrare Report. Thank you to Aaron Nelson for coming on the show. What a great interview, great discussion. Man, I learned a lot from Aaron and look forward to learning more about real estate investing. Remember, guys, his invitation stands. Reach out to him